Hello, this is Quesadilla, and I am here playing a mod pack that I was never able to finish. This is Enigmatica 6 Expert. It was one of the main packs I used to play back in the day, and it was one of the last packs I was playing right before I had to make a lot of changes and adjustments in my life. But here I am. I'm back at it, and I am making this my first series because this one was one of the packs that I really wanted to get through. And now that I have the time and experience to do this, I am going to be doing it. So there are no rules to this. This is just me playing the game, me going through the quest, and hopefully finishing the whole thing. Um, I am not editing or cutting anything else except for speeding up the video. It's gonna be about um, 3 to 4 times as fast. This one's a 3x. It all depends on how long I record for. But I have really deep-rooted feelings for this mod pack. I really do enjoy it a lot. And here we are. This is the spawn. Here I am, just changing up my settings. I do change the GUI scale back, but right after, oh yeah, I do set the difficulty to hard and lock it. And right off the bat, there are three zombies just aiming to kill me. But other than that, I check out some of the recipes, get some of these smaller tasks done on the quest log, and really just start getting myself reacquainted with this pack because I haven't played it well over 2 years now at this point. So yeah, here I am just looking at all the quests, looking at everything right here, getting acquainted, getting really acquainted with every little part of this. And obviously, my first little goal is to get into Tinker's, but Tinker's construct is a little bit more gated behind a few other of these mods. Although some of these gates aren't really too strict, they are still there. And so um, I try to get into Tinkers as soon as possible. That was one of my favorite mods, honestly. It's been one of my favorite mods for the longest time. Um, I used to tune back in with mod creator streams back in the day, and yeah, I hope he's doing good. At least I used to be somewhat acquainted with him. But yeah, here I am getting a lay of the land, finding this fucking ship chest, but I couldn't find it at all in this area. Don't know where it was. I ended up forgetting and not caring. But here I am, getting a lay of the land. There's a village right there. Got this big old lighthouse. Ended up exploring it for a little bit. It's a little bit of an exploration, but it's a cool little spot. I took the books for one of the quests, took a few of the starter resources, you know, gotta scavenge what you can whenever you can. And you know, just checking out the structure. It's not too fancy. Turn on the lighthouse. But here in a second, I'm gonna find the area where I plan on residing and actually getting started on stuff. Um, Enigmatica is a really great mod pack. It's very in-depth and based in quests and progression. Um, I can't really compare it to any other mod packs that I've played. It's very unique in the sense that this mod pack has inspired me to make my own mod pack at one point, and I still am working on it. But just the way it adds all these elements of progression and gating you know, connecting these mods together between magic and tech and being able to work towards a good goal is something that I really enjoyed and really looked forward to in this pack, which is why I'm coming back and sitting here and being able to finish it. I checked out this little fisherman's hut. Thought it'd be a cool little spawner thing to use later on, just in case. I'm not really too sure. I haven't looked too deep into the mod pack to really fully remember where I was at and what there is to do in the beginnings of this. I decided to settle right here, get myself a little starter area. Not even a base. I don't even start a base, nor do I start building anything in this at all. Um, yeah, you see me here getting started on some of the basic tools, changing my GUIs, uh, changing my GUI scale back to 3, and mining some wood. Of course, we all need wood. So here I am getting wood. Gonna chop down this big old cherry tree. I chose this biome as well on purpose because back whenever I was doing my first playthrough, I was settled in a cherry blossom field. I've always had a very big fascination with cherry blossom, cherry grove biomes in modern Minecraft, and it was one of those places that I always tried finding in any of my playthroughs because it's just such a vibrant color. It's a very good green that goes with the red of the cherry, and being able to, you know, build with those blocks makes it really nice. So right here, I am just again getting my basic tools ready and kill the raccoon because he took some of my items. Never got him back. Whatever. Here we go. Um, right now, this is why I tried to start Tinker's Construct and get a little bit of the way through. I upgraded my tools to instead from being um, regular Minecraft tools to the Tinker's Construct tools. As with Tinker's Construct, you can work towards building up the same tool you have instead of having to craft a whole different tool every single time it breaks. It's one of my favorite mods that I used to play with back in the day that I am sad that has not been updated recently. But you kind of got to do what you got to do. Um, yeah, so here it is. Here we are getting started with Tinker's Construct. I'm finding out how to make the crafting station and all the other stations right here. Um, but I decided to make the stone tools not only for the simple fact of the progression of the quest tree, but because in this pack it's kind of hard to get yourself any more equipped than what you have with stone. Um, one of the biggest things after creating your stations is working towards getting that smeltery, and the smeltery is very not very far into the pack, more or less, and around the beginning of the pack, it's just a little bit gated. You have to work on some machinery and figure out a little bit of the magic stuff, but that's where everything gets all intertwined, and this is the one part where I started realizing, hey, this is gonna be a lot more than I can chew right now. Well, no, not a lot more than I can chew, but a lot more than what I expected. Because looking back at all this, I am very well thinking about where I should go from here, what tools I'm going to be using, how I'm going to be making these tools, but then also forgetting that since this is a mod pack based on expertise and grindiness, it's going to be a lot harder. And I just can't do what I want to at the point that I want. But here we are, just making those stone tools. And it's a little bit of a tedious process, but it's a process. We get ourselves equipped here. Uh, I do decide to use this bamboo as my sticks because sticks you can't craft them in the original way that you would think. So I decided to make just like the smallest bamboo farm right there above my little station. Here I am making myself more patterns and trying to get a hold and get the hang of how Tinker's Construct worked because it I have been there ever since there was the precursor to all this. I forget what the mod was called back in 1.2.5, but once he started breaking it into multiples into Tinker's Construct, I mainly remember how the old system was. Here I am going down into the caves, this little ravine I decided to plunk myself next to just for the ores, the visible ones at least, and ease of access down into getting stone if I need to. Um, I completely forgot that there are different types of stones, and how they had the different layers of stones and stuff like this. Here I lag out a little bit, kind of wild and weird, but I lag out, get myself some bitumen, and figure out what the hell is that for. It is something that I use later on, but you know, at this moment it wasn't too useful. I just left it there. Um, Pretty dark. Still haven't found any coal, but that's also why I went down into the ravine. I'm looking for some coal to be able to light up some of the areas, but never mind. I guess I was just getting myself some more stone for these tools. But here in a second, I will get myself some torches going on and, getting things going a little bit more. Uh, yeah. So here I am just looking around and putting stuff away, getting my life together right there, honestly, and organizing myself because here I am realizing now that the things that I want to do are probably not going to happen. I make the peony smelting, go to sleep first, obviously. Always got to go to bed. But here I am. I start collecting the clay and the sand, and right here I get about 64 and 44 blocks, which I did the math, and even then I still did my math wrong. But from what I got, it was all right. So 64 plus 44, which is 108 blocks. 108 blocks times 4, which is 432 blocks. And then I divided that by 64, which would be 6.75 stacks for each for the uh, for the amount of clay blocks that I got. And I ended up getting. Oh, see, I see what my mistake was. So here I end up getting my play ready, and this is where I start doing my math on my phone, figuring out, oh, oh goodness. So yeah, it is 6.75, and I ended up getting myself only 4.75, which would be four stacks of 64 and one stack of 48 that I got myself in the end. But now I see where my math error was. But either way, I needed clay later on because clay is being used for something else, terracotta. You'll see that later on. But here I am just mining all this gravel, mining it all out, going along. Yeah, don't really have much to say at this point. It's just I'm ready to get along in this mod pack and work a lot more because these types of mod packs are the ones that I'm really into and really digging mostly. Um, I might put up a few packs here and there. I might not just be doing this one single one by itself, but I will be mostly just playing Minecraft mod packs and doing a lot of other stuff, just to name a few things. I decided to travel over here to grab some sand. There is a little part where I start grabbing the sand and head back towards the treasure area because I needed a little bit more stone to keep on repairing my little matic. That's what it's called, my little matic that I have. Which that tool right there in my hand, you're able to use to dig out a lot of sediments and stuff like that, while also being able to chop down trees. It's a dual use. Um, so I take a sleep in that little hut. I don't really do much. This is the little part where I dug out a little bit of the sand and then decided to head back this way to grab the stone. Now, as I'm mining the stone and everything, I discover that I get a trinket unlock, and I don't use it immediately. There's a keybind for it that I decide to set later on and activate. But that little trinket is something that adds a little bit of mining speed, and it really does help. And what the stone tools that I have, they have like tiers and levels of different materials that you use for them. So with the stone tools, it works a lot easier for stone. It has this ability called um, stone bound, I'm pretty sure. I really do have to recheck it, but I'm kind of going off this one with no script and seeing how things flow. So hopefully soon I'll be able to get a little bit more input on how to create these videos. But this is my first video ever doing something like this, and I think it's fun. I take inspiration from Neurotic Goose, who is doing a lot of series like this as well. And, I'd like to be a part of that community that's putting out stuff like this because I enjoy a lot of Minecraft podcasts. This is one of my passions. Hmm. So I finished up gathering that sand and everything right there, and here I am just making my way back to my little active area. Mind you, it's already been maybe, let me check the time right here. It has already been about an hour in for me, almost an hour in. Yeah, just about an hour in, and I'm still barely scratching the surface of any of this mod pack. I don't have much iron, don't have much resources at this time. Here's where I set the trinket. Um, but I'm just making do, grabbing some coal, needing this, and you'll see here how I manage my resources in early game because a lot of these resources I end up needing, but not realizing that I can, double them and stuff like that later on. I didn't do as much research into the mod pack before I got back into it, and I will probably do that with the next mod pack that I play. But have another good old night's rest and figure out, hey, I can't make any of the furnaces. realizing then that I could use the bitumen that I got. Here I am gathering more bitumen, going back up so I can make those furnaces, so I can smelt my ground idea. So this is where I try and figure out, oh, this is going to be a lot harder than expected. Because I can't shift click it, and I don't find anything weird about that. But once I do that, I am in for a treat. I start scrambling to figure out what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I start figuring out that I can't do it. I gotta I gotta look through this book. I look through it and realize that nothing I can do right now can happen. So after this little frantic thing, I start looking and seeing like, hey, well, this is what I'm gonna need. So I start trying to get myself into thermal expansion, the thermal series, anything thermal series. So I start progressing in this progress tree. It's a remove my furnaces and everything. But here I show you how I manage my little resources. I get a hammer, start progressing through this, trying to figure out what I can do to get this smeltery, because that's what I'm working towards. That's my first goal. Uh, right here, I'm figuring out what tools I'm going to keep and how much materials I'm going to need to be able to progress in this. And, you know, what I'm going to need to be able to, get these machines going. And I start working, making a mad dash to a dynamo. And the first dynamo that you can make would be Sterling Dynamo. Sterling Dynamo. So I look up how to make the Sterling Dynamo here in a second. But first, I got to make the crescent hammer, which requires a little bit of aluminum, a little bit of iron. A lot of these recipes are a lot more complex to do, and so you're going to need a lot more time and patience to be able to do the things that you want. Like right there, that crescent hammer took me a little bit of time to get, but I still got it in the end. Start figuring out, oh crap, this recipe is going to be a little bit more of a doozy, so start trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing to get that. Here I am looking at what I need for the Sterling Dynamo. So then I favorite the recipe for the redstone furnace. And I forget what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, I think I was just looking at some documentation on it. Um, but yeah, I bookmarked the redstone furnace and start working towards getting that Sterling Dynamo, needing as much iron, aluminum, and copper as well. Because seems to me that in this world, copper is very scarce. I've been trying to look for a lot of copper, and every little copper vein that I find is very few and far between. So I use copper wisely, or at least I try to. So skeleton being a little butt right there, but here I am collecting more copper from the ravine. As much copper as I can get, honestly. Find some tin, grab some of that. And here I start digging down this little path of mine right here. I end up finding a cave at the end of this tunnel right here. I just keep on mining down and down and down. My pickaxe eventually breaks at one point, so I end up having to use my iron one. But traversing this was pretty fun. I found some redstone for what I'm gonna need, and I forgot, honestly, on this version that there is no below bedrock. And right here, I think I end up finding some diamonds under the luck of the draw. Right here. I was just mine around, and all of a sudden I find the diamonds right there. So I decided to mine some coal, get a little bit more torches, and mine diamonds up. Use those. I'll use those for something very peculiar later. It isn't very peculiar, but more or less something that not a lot of people will do, and I usually do because repairability, dependability, and other aspects of what I'm needing in this will help out a lot with the diamonds. But I end up actually putting one of the diamonds onto my pickaxe and my sword so I can upgrade them. And that's where the upgradability and the true nature of Tinker's Construct comes in. So again, it's a beautiful mod. I loved it. The llamas were just heavily annoying me. They were selling a beacon that I could not get for the life of me, sadly. But here I am getting into the Tinker Station and putting on all those modifications. I also end up putting on redstone, which increases the haste of it, so it just makes the mining speed a little bit faster. Um, but here I am. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, I start working on the items for the Sterling Dynamo, and I figure out right here that it has to be actual smooth stone. So I ended up going and getting this smooth stone. End up keeping the gabbro for some reason though. And here it is. Make a little jump. Gather as much stone as I can because I think I end up smelting just 16. Because one coal still equals 8 smelts in this pack. And I just needed maybe about 16 pieces, so I used the 4 pieces of coal. You'll notice that's how I manage my resources at this point, is using one piece of coal for 8. If it's any less, don't want to do it. Try to find as much, resource crunching as I can. Here I am trying to figure out how to make it far. And I realize now that I have to get to create. And, I could go through the aloe kiln, but even then, that's probably a little bit better of an idea at this point for me. Uh, or that's what I'm assuming at this point because I end up starting immersive engineering first. And even then, immersive engineering is such a great mod to work with as well. I love the aesthetics of the wires and everything because it just brings out life in the mod and it brings out life in the little game right here. I'm really looking forward to working with immersive engineering in this pack and a lot of the other machines that I used to create back when I was playing this pack a few years ago. Um, I think my favorite part will be whenever I start working on a warehouse, because at one point in time I will start building and we'll get the building going on and everything. I feel like I'll be a little bit more fine-tuned on this recording and audio thing. But for now, this is my first video, so we're starting now. We're getting the Sterling Dynamo getting out. And we're gonna get there at one point. But, as I said, this mod pack is tedious. It's very grindy, and it'll take a lot out of you. I gather for 24 sand right here, so I can smelt that out, get myself some glass, maybe some glass for a starter house at one point, just to get my stuff out of the open. because I do enjoy the open, but at one point I do want to stop sleeping. And I'm pretty sure I can set up magnum torches here, but I do have to look at the mod a little more in depth. I didn't do much at all on any type of research. Here, I'm setting up a little area, showing off what the comma can do. The comma, which essentially has silk touch, just silk touches anything you break. But I'm just setting up this little area right here for the energy situation. So whenever I do start getting into thermal expansion, the thermal series and everything, I'll be able to have a little bit of an area to work with. Find out that bitumen can be used in the Sterling dynamo, so I decided to put that in there. This is where I start my immersive engineering little bout. Go back down and gather that bitumen because I know it can get used for the Sterling dynamo. And here I just travel around. I'm just exploring my area, making sure everything's all safe and dandy. Kill a skeleton here. Almost get killed, which is surprisingly I haven't died. I usually die in these types of mod packs really quickly, but I guess here I'm just lucky. Here I am trying to find some sort of copper. Decided to do a strip right here, but I end up finding way more iron than I do gold. I mean, not gold. Way more iron than I do copper, and I find that really strange. But either way, iron is still good as long as you have some sort of metal that you found. Yeah, yeah, I'm just mining away and giving up because I don't have any more torches, nor do I want to make any more, even though I end up making more here soon. So there's some more iron right there, and I end up lagging for a second. There we go, back up, and here's the little pout of copper that I got. Fall down, and here I am making myself back up. Sucks though because I've been needing to find more copper, and even then, later on in the video, I try to go mining again. I'm pretty sure, and I still can't find any more copper. Alright, so I end up putting my stuff away, thinking about how I can get some better organization going on here while I figure out how I work this immersive engineering stuff again. It had been a long while since I played any type of immersive engineering, and getting accustomed to it wasn't that hard, but it is modified at that point as well. So I'm still figuring out what I'm doing and how to do it. But it seems like things are going to get difficult in this area too. So I just got to do a lot more preparing on what I'm going to be doing and how modified it's going to be. A lot of these packs these days do, here's the terracotta thing. That's why I'm glad I didn't use all the clay. But I got to figure out how these mods work in this pack again, because some of these machines later on are going to get way, way complex. Like that one right there. Again, we're going to set up a lot of machines through Create, a lot of power through um, other mods I got to look through. I know a big one for me on this pack would be Create. And that's where I'm realizing now that I have to go through. That is one of the first things that I have to do is create. And it's just a simple trying to get this andesite, trying to get the andesite alloy, and me figuring out how to get this TNT. So one of the last things I do in this video is roaming around and searching for the TNT and gunpowder to be able to blast away and be able to create the andesite alloy. so I can progress further and be able to put out another episode. Here I am just completing some quests and stuff like that, figuring out what quests I have to do here. And here I am exploring now at this point, putting my stuff away, getting myself a little bit more organized, figuring out if I can make myself a backpack, which will probably be done in the next episode as well. But here I am, just putting my stuff away, putting everything just in a safe place before I take an adventure. I decide to take my tinker station as well because, as you recall, I can repair my stuff. These are just stone tools, mind you. I'm just applying one diamond on each one of these. And very soon here, what I'm looking for are the modifiers, and I'll be able to modify my sword with sweeping edge and um, there's another one on here. Here they are. I added sticky, which slows down the target, and sweeping edge, which obviously just makes it to where you hit more targets. Ended up making myself some chains, forgetting how to make chains, and then remembering. So I finish up doing my tools and everything, and here I am gathering some cobwebs. Here I am gathering cobwebs to be able to upgrade my tools and go out on this little journey. Because once I get this sword upgrade, I take a little trek and find myself a few little points of interest that I try to keep with me at least. Get myself a little repair before I go off on this journey. Get myself a few more repair kits just in case as well. Almost forget to repair the matic, and I do leave my comma behind, I'm pretty sure. And I was deciding to go below, but decided not to. Decided to go up north, northeast. Decided to go take a trek on the northeast because it just seemed like a better route to take. It seemed like a better vibe to go off of. So, here I am just taking a trek down that way. Decide to steal this village's materials out of some other chests so I can start some farms. I take their waste stone as well, good little waste stone, you know, which obviously helps me later on. You'll see that whenever the time arises. It's a very helpful thing to know that villages will always spawn with those waste stones. So if you don't necessarily need to keep the waste stone village, you can just very well take the thing and use it somewhere else. Venturing off even more, I find a structure, but it's not any structure in particular that I can loot or use in this immediate time at this time. It's a little astral sorcery type of deal. It's a cool little structure, but we'll come back to that whenever we need it. Keep on trekking up north, looking around, seeing what we have, and I find that big old building right there. Even has a path going towards it. And I decide to go and raid it with the little gear that I have. I only have myself a golden helmet and a golden pair of pants. But me being the risky ballsy guy that I am, decide to raid it. But I take sneaky tactics. I do cheese it a little bit because this is Minecraft. Even though you don't want to be a little bit cheesy, sometimes you gotta cheese the system. Take down these two skeletons right at the top. right at the bottom and get through them pretty quickly. But even then, I'm just being cautious, seeing if there's anyone around, and I make a run for it right here. Get this other chest, lock myself in, get myself a better helmet at least, so I get that upgrade. But after that, I sort out what I can and can't grab at that moment, leave some stuff in there, and forget that I can't make a darn crafting table like that. But once I do, try to make myself an iron chest plate, which doesn't work. I forget you gotta sequence craft the snap out of it. So here I decide to, instead of going up above on those stairs, to take the sneaky route and go on the side. I find the little room, raid a little chest, get myself some boots too, so I'm a little bit more geared up. Decide on whether I use the iron sword or the stone sword, which at the time the iron sword is just a tad bit better, so I opt to use that one. Kill off all these skeletons, almost die a few times, but you know, I prefer not dying, so I decided not to, at least this time, thankfully. Block off the room upstairs, clear it off, see if there's anything else of interest in here, and decide to go for this little skeleton right here that almost kills me as well. He decides to go back up and hide, so I decide to go and chase him through the side once again. Um, Making this little platform right here was a little bit tricky, but I got it. I ended up just maneuvering around these guys and seeing what I can do to gather them all around. Here I made a little spot where I can kill them off. Almost die right here again. Look at those. Look at that. I never get below 3 hearts right here, which is surprising, thankfully. Again, lure this guy over and kill him as well. Eat the rest of my cotton chips, so now I have to resort to these Oreos, magic cookies, and I find myself the chest plate that I've so needed. I leave the Cavalier sword solely because I don't need it. Um, leave some other stuff up here, and decide to leave. There wasn't much interest in that stuff, but I do remember where everything's at. So if I do have to come back here, I will. Decided to do some more venturing right here. Don't see anything in my vicinity, so I decided instead of heading east to head west and lag out a little bit. Obviously, you know the vibes. Just keep on going west. Check out my mini map here in a second, and don't find anything of interest. And I end up finding this little dungeon thing, so I decided to go down the ladder. I end up finding one piece of TNT right there. Um, so I could have very well ended my journey right there, decided to go back, but I press on. I feel like there's some more to this. Eat one of those and realize, holy crap, does that give me effects 4 days? So, sort out my inventory real quick, wait for the night vision to wear off, and grab out some more materials out of this stuff, and there it wears off. I hate not being able to see where I have to put light down and where mobs can spawn. I get that weird thing that happens. These mobs just spawn out of nowhere. I try to kill them in between the wood bot, but I can't. So I just look around, grab stack hopper, which is again a rarity. See what the items were there, and just take a peek in there. This is where I spent a little bit of most of my time. That made sense, didn't it? Here I am shooting down the creepers so I can collect their gunpowder, shoot that guy down. Don't know what he is, or do I remember immediately right now, and try to find a way down because it seems like this would be a good area to explore. And since I see a whole bunch of creepers spawning, I decide to go down and call to farm out some creepers. A pulled the gunpowder that I need to make even more andesite alloy. And if I'm gonna be progressing, I just might as well take a gander. See another chest down there and decide to put down a waystone, the waystone that I took from the village, and go back home and sort out my inventory a little bit better. Plop down my bed now that I can get back real quick, and take the things that I need real quick. Yeah, all that gets stored. I take my actual sword just in case. Go back to the cave and head down. Now this part right here scares me because, well, one, I find a little more copper, thankfully. And two, it's just you don't know what's gonna pop out whenever you get down there. Nothing really interesting in this chest. Do find tons of diamonds in here. Just watch. Gather all this redstone, get popped by a creeper, get scared by it, but here's more. Gather their gunpowder and gather all this andesite for the alloy that we're going to be making. And gather the gunpowder that I got from over here from these other creepers. And he exploded, sadly, but it's okay. Still haven't died yet either, which is a godsend. And here we go. And we kill him. Got the spawner over there. We got the blobfish blobbing. Baby zombie almost on the verge of death. And we're over here just doing the most. Get a disc from a skeleton killing a spider. And end up doing all of that as well. Killing all those zombies and finding one of these Tetra buildings. I'm not sure if I want to get into Tetra a little bit more into this series, but I might just get into it just for the quests and everything. I don't have anything against Tetra, nor do I know how to use Tetra as much as I should. Solely because I was that Tinker's Construct guy. I liked it way better than Tetra. There's some more diamonds for your soul, and some more down there. There's some more that I grab later, more that I don't grab later on that I just kind of leave around. Something weird happened with those torches for some reason, but it's cool. I almost die on this part right here. This is the area where I get really sketched out. There we go. There's the arts. Don't go any lower than that though. There's the diamonds that I don't pick up. Killing all these mobs. Get myself a slingshot trinket that I don't equip just yet. And then I find this skeleton. He's a cool looking guy. Decide not to kill him, but let the Forgotten kill him. And I get into a squabble with him and get his hat. Decide to peek around this area. Find a little advanced dungeon with a little husk spawner. It comes with a map that I never checked out, which I should too in this next episode. But I gathered all the goodies out of here. It's just a bunch of gold. Another creeper right here. Another creeper right there. I see a lot of creepers spawn in this area, so I was able to get a lot of gunpowder to be able to um, gather more TNT. There we go. Couldn't think of it right. But I light this area up as a skeleton spawner, find a spawner agitator, which is a good thing I will be using later on for a lot of spawner needs. But there are all the diamonds right there that I don't pick up just yet. And I decide it's time to go home. It's time to track back upstairs and go back to the old honey home. Um, but, here I am, getting back home. I tell you right now that after this, we get back home safely. We finally get a little bit more. Trying to find my way back right here, and here I just explore a little more, which I shouldn't have. Decide this is not the time to do it. But we will decide to explore this cave later on another time. This is me trying to find my way out, honestly. can't even find my waystone. But I end up finding the area where my waystone's at. Here I am, coming back home. And yeah, see you later.